The next time you guys hear somebody say that men have it easy or men run the world and men don't struggle or men have it so much better than women, I want you guys to listen and to this podcast, these clips, and really think if that statement they're saying is true. Because clearly, men and women both have different challenges, and some of the challenges that men have, even when they say men are empowered or men have all the control, is bullshit.
The ramifications that these mating market conditions can have at a societal level as well, right? So we need to be, let's take the poorer men situation, right? So we need to be aware of the situation for those individuals, right? What it is like for those individuals faced in that kind of market. We need to be aware of things like, amongst the incel population, for example, who are often associated with this group of, who are self-proclaimed disadvantaged in the mating market. One of the things we see in that particular subpopulation is huge rates of mental health problems, right? Huge rates of neurodivergence, autism, depression, anxiety that are, double the rates, even more of what we would see amongst the usual population.
Just to put it out there, we're not suggesting that not having sex causes you to be autistic. We're suggesting that a lot of people that are autistic and neurodivergent tend to be incels. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So
the fact that black pillars or incels are more likely to have mental disorders and stuff doesn't surprise me. In the 40s and the 50s and the 30s, etc., we didn't hear about this as much. This wasn't so much of a thing, although medical science was different. And I'm just wondering, is this something that we're doing that's causing this? Because why does everybody have mental disorders? Like, it's pretty much everybody. Like, point to a person who doesn't have something.
We need to be sensitive and aware of those kinds of barriers as well. And I think it can be easy to just go, well, it's sex, whatever. Like, we should be focusing on people's, on other fundamental life motivations. But for many, many people, sex is very, very, very important to them. And not just very important at a hedonistic, I like getting my rocks off kind of way. Important in terms of who I value myself to be, my overall, my self-worth, my one of the things that motivates me to be living and feel like I am really,
especially as a man, my masculine validity. Yes,
right. And I think for far too long now we have just ignored that as something that is deserving of time and attention. So that would be the first thing, is the importance of what it's like for those individuals. The other thing is the massive ramifications that it can have for international security when you start to mess with mating market dynamics, right? And what that can cause for the prevalence of war, what that can cause for the prevalence of increased violence, theft, property crimes in general. And Valerie Hudson, who is a political scientist at Texas A&M, has done a lot of work on this, and so has Rose McDermott, who's over at Brown, and they have shown that these mating market obstructions, where it's very hard for young men to marry, particularly in areas that are polygynous, right? So that one man has many wives, and what that does is favour rich men who can afford many wives. It means that I think in Afghanistan right now, the rate of buying a wife, because it's that kind of bride price environment, you have to buy a wife. The rate of buying a wife is so expensive that only one son in each family, unless they're very rich, will ever be able to afford it. And all of the other sons, and these are environments which favour sons, so people tend to have more sons than daughters, all of the other sons will never marry. They just have to work to make sure that the eldest son can marry. I mean, imagine being one of those guys, right? You're never going.
What? So let's say there's 3 sons in a family. The oldest son gets to marry and have sex and have a family. And the other 2 just get to be like, here, make money for your brother so he can afford to marry. And then you can just be an uncle. Do you all get turns with the wife? Like, I'm sorry, that's nasty in a way, but I'm just it's wild to me. Like, what is happening right now? That is crazy. What is going on? This is insane. I'll give you 2 camel and 1 goat for this woman. Please. Thank you. This is not Afghanistan accent, but, you know, I still trade you 2 camel, 1 goat. Okay? That's all she wanted. You wait. You said 2 camel, 1 goat, 2 pig? Wait, we don't eat pig here. You don't take 2 camel, 1 goat? You want 2 camel, 2 horse? No, this is too much. Do you see her? Her boobies are just tiny. What? I can't milk this. I can't milk these boobies. They're too small. Do you see this? First, you get me a woman with bigger boobies. Come back.
The rate of buying a wife is so expensive that only 1 son in each family, unless they're very rich, will ever be able to afford it. And all of the other sons, and these are environments which favour sons, so people tend to have more sons than daughters, all of the other sons will never marry. They just have to work to make sure that the eldest son can marry. I mean, imagine being...
Hold on. These are areas that favor sons, but yet only the oldest son in the family will get to marry and reproduce, and the other ones will basically just earn for the oldest one? How the frick does this favor men? At least the women actually get to have, like, families and kids and have a husband. Like, are you joking right now? How does this favor the man? Because the man is buying the woman? Is it buying or is it a dowry? Like, okay, I need more information on what it means to buy. It seems like only the ones that have money it's good for. So when we say it's great for men, or it's better for men in this society, let's be honest, it's better for men who have money. Like with everything in the world. If you have money, it's better for you. If you don't have money, it sucks big ass.
Being one of those guys, right? You're never going to find a wife. You're never going to earn enough money to find a wife. Your elder brother, if you give him all your money, will find a wife. But and that's what your family culture has to do. Now, then imagine a group like the Taliban comes along, and I'm simplifying a little, but not that much. A group like the Taliban comes along and says, we need to get women out of education. We need to, I'll give you money, it will be religiously righteous, and we're going to get women out of education, and we're going to give you a wife if you join our insurgency and join our cause.
Yeah, so all those guys who couldn't get wives and had to put money in for their older brother to get wives are all like, hell yeah, sign me up. The punani, woo, getting it in. Like, they're doing the we're gonna have sex dance, yeah. So this is what I mean. Men will do pretty much anything to be with a woman. They literally will join the Taliban and go and get themselves killed just so they can get the punani. Women run the world, and then we pretend like women are like don't have any power in these places. Are you kidding me? The men are literally killing themselves to be with you. So I think the men are the dumb ones here.
And all of a sudden in these environments, you have these men presented with completely bleak mating market prospects, and then presented with a group that tells them we'll get girls out of education, which for these uneducated men is a no-brainer. Why would you want girls being uneducated if you're an uneducated man and you know that educated women won't be interested in you?
She cannot be smarter than me. If she is, she gets smacked. She get the cane. You talk back? You think you know 2 plus 2 equals 5? No. 2 plus 2 equals 6. Now get back in kitchen and make sandwich. Remember, 2 piece of bread plus 2 piece of bread. You take that PhD and you wipe your ass with it. I don't know why I say this. I don't know this accent, what I'm doing, but it's bullshit.
Then they tell you we'll give you a job and we'll give you money, right? Okay, well, that's a no-brainer. And, you know, part of these dynamics is they're fueling these very, very problematic international security dilemmas to do with warfare, to do with terrorism, to do with violence. And then we ignore that structural consequence as well.
Wasn't there something in medieval Portugal where the first son, there was so few women, sex ratio was split in a particular way that the first son was the only one that could get a wife, or maybe it was a gerontocracy, or maybe there was some barons that had captured all of the hot young women or something, and they just shipped all of the other younger sons. First son, fantastic, you're laughing, you get family and wife.
Yeah.
All of the other sons, what they did in order to be a pressure release valve for this latent sexual frustration was they sent them off on galleon ships, and they said, go explore the new world, you can go be pirates of the sea, you can go do all of this stuff. So they literally exported every man that wasn't the first son in a desperate attempt to try and tune down this young male syndrome. So, okay, we've spoken.
Yeah, and that's why we literally send men to war. Men go to war, men get killed, and it's like a population culling. Just get those men out of here. There's too many useless men. Maybe they're going to do that again now with all these incels and whatever else we have where people are messed up and don't seem happy, or men are messed up and don't seem happy. Maybe they just got to go and start a war and then ship a bunch of us off.
Talking about what's happening in countries where no matter what you think about the West, the gender inequality is worse, right? It's not as bad over here as it is over there.
Yeah.
Do you think that the West has an incel problem in terms of societal stability and security?
No.
I think the world has an incel problem.
Well, fine, just contradict me then, okay? But I am totally smarter than you, PhD Candace Blake. Right. Doctorate Candace Blake. Yeah. Okay. You think you're so smart because you're a doctor? You think because you're a doctor, you're my master now? Huh?
I'm giving you my intuition on this because there's very poor quality data on it. But my intuition on it is that what we're calling incels in the West is prevalent in all different environments. We just may not use that term, and in those environments they may not be vocal on English social media and use hashtags to do with incels. But that underlying sentiment of disgruntled, aggrieved young men who have poor prospects of finding a date, and the likelihood of those men engaging in kind of societal disruption, I think is evident everywhere.
Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed listening to this. I'm always looking for different things that are kind of interesting, but all of this stuff here just goes to show that a lot of the issues that we have in our society right now, and while we might think this incel thing, we might think they're not that serious, they all have effects. And while people may not be out there killing and shooting up schools, but they're letting out their anger in other ways. So let's do our best to make sure that we aren't those people, and we are dealing with our issues in the healthiest way possible, so that we don't become depressed or angry or take it out on others for things in our lives that maybe aren't going our way. I'll leave you guys with that. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next time.